Good morning. I'm Tech Sergeant Bradley Dean, your narrator for today's change of command ceremony. The custom of acknowledging a change of commanding officers is rooted in military history. While the true origin is unknown, the tradition is most likely rooted in Roman military practices. In the 18th century, during the reign of King Frederick the Great of Prussia, the first formal military manual was introduced. This manual provided standards for drill, formation, instructions for the review of a parade, and inspections by the battalion commander. It was during this time that organizational flags were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each particular unit. When a change of command was to take place, the outgoing commander passed the flag to the individual assuming command. This gesture was accomplished in front of the unit so that all could see and witness their new leader in assuming his dutiful position. He who possessed the flag held the soldiers' loyalty and their allegiance. This symbolic tradition has survived through military history. The command flag is entrusted to the 13th Space Warning Squadron First Sergeant, Master Sergeant David J. Davis, symbolically expressing the special trust and responsibility afforded to the command's enlisted members. In today's ceremony, Lieutenant Colonel Stephaine K. Flowers will relinquish command of the 13th Space Warning Squadron to Lieutenant Colonel John S. Burton, who comes to clear after serving as the branch head for space for the Allied Command operations at the Supreme Headquarters Allied Command Powers Europe, North Atlantic Treaty Organization in Belgium. Col Ernest M Schmitt, Commander of Space Delta IV, will officiate today's ceremony. Please stand for the arrival of the official party, the playing of the national anthem, and the invocation.
Post the colors. Present home. Port. Colors turn. March.
Let us pray. Lord of all, we acknowledge your presence and power here, and thank you for your overwatch. We gather to celebrate this tradition and witness this transition of commanders. We give thanks to you, O Lord, for the time well spent with Lieutenant Colonel Flowers. She has done well here, ensuring the mission continued to advance, station needs were met, advocated for, and all of Team Clear and its partners were further unified. We thank you for the blessing she is and ask for her new role to be a joy and for a smooth transition there in IG. We welcome Lieutenant Colonel Burton to Team Clear. We're thankful for the overlapping transition time he's had in his integration, but we pray while he is away from home from his wife and 3 daughters in Wyoming. We pray that they would connect often in various ways and see each other as time makes it appropriate. Lord, may you bless his integration here and continue the good work of all of the commanders before him and those that have worked in various ways above and beside Team Clear. Lord, please further establish this mission and the team, ensuring our ability to safeguard our nation and the American way of life. With thanksgiving and healthy fear of your power and protection, we make these requests in unity. Amen, forever and ever.
Thank you, Chaplain, for those inspiring words. Please be seated. Before we continue with today's activities, I would like to extend a special welcome to the spouse of the incoming commander, Kelly Burton, and their 3 daughters, Audrey, Catherine, and Emma. Also with us today is his father, Kent Burton, Admiral, retired, and his mother, Winnie Burton. We're also honored to have a number of special guests with us today. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Mr. Steve Frisbee, Mr. Todd Rose, Mr. Gerald Loeffler, Mr. Joshua Verhagen, the Nana City Mayor, Ms. Nicole Shreve, the Nana City Administrator, Mr. Chris Knoll, Denali Borough Mayor, Colonel Benjamin Doyle, 168th Operations Group Commander, Chief Master Sergeant Kyle Mullen, Delta 4 Senior Enlisted Leader, and Senior Master Sergeant Seth Stinnett, 268th Security Force Squadron Senior Enlisted Leader. And finally, a warm welcome to all other members of Team Clear and partners in attendance today. And on behalf of the official party, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all in virtual attendance today. Please welcome the presiding officer for today's ceremony, Col Ernest M Schmitt.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the change of command for the 13th Space Warning Squadron. It's great to see everyone today. Before we get started, thanks to all the team that put this together, to these gentlemen behind me, Lieutenant Brandenburg, I heard you had a role here. Thanks for escorting our folks in. So thanks for all that. Also for the honor guard, I understand they come from Eielson, right? So thanks for making the drive down from Eielson, and if they're listening, what a great job. Very, very professional. So thanks for supporting Team Clear. Good morning, community leaders, commanders, senior enlisted leaders, Delta 4 teammates, other distinguished guests, and especially the dedicated members of the 13th Space Warning Squadron and Clear Space Force Station, or Team Clear, as I like to say. Today we gather to honor a tradition that is both the hallmark of our military heritage and a testament to our enduring commitment to excellence, the change of command ceremony. It is my distinct pleasure to lead the transition of command from Lieutenant Colonel Stephaine Flowers to Lieutenant Colonel John Burton. From my understanding, Major General Smith may be joining us online, so if he was able to make it, again, thanks for joining us online. Also, other distinguished guests in the room and online, sir, thank you for being here to support your son. You understand the importance of this event and how important it is for Clear Space Force Station is to our national defense. And I appreciate you taking the time to support Lieutenant Colonel Flowers, Lieutenant Colonel Burton, and the men and women of Team Clear. I also want to acknowledge the families of our outgoing and incoming commanders. Your unwavering support and sacrifices are the backbone of your loved one's success. I see, again, both John's parents made it out to the ceremony. Thank you for joining us in this remote part of Alaska. And for John's wife, Kelly, and daughters, Audrey, Catherine, and Emma, who are joining us online from Wyoming. Thank you for letting us borrow your dad for a year and your husband. I know it's going to be tough, but he's the right leader for this job, and I know he's going to do great here. So also to every other family member and attending online or virtually, thank you for your dedication to both Stephanie and John. The jobs asks a lot of them, and in turn asks a lot of you. I guarantee you they would not be there without all of your support. Before we transition the squadron over to Lieutenant Colonel Burton, though, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about a very eventful 1 year for Lieutenant Colonel Flowers and the impact that she has had here that will reverberate for years to come. I said, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure most of you are aware, Stephanie's tour here started out on fire, literally. I was introduced to Lieutenant Colonel Flowers amid the Alaska fires last year that nearly caused us to evacuate Clear Space Force Station. She led Team Clear through that event, resulting in no loss of mission or lives. She was able to get resources from everyone who was willing to help, and I mean everyone. She asked everyone, so that her team could fight this fire and be prepared to evacuate if needed. I'm in awe of how the Team Clear came together, and how the Team Clear firefighters partnering with the state of Alaska and others helped to save homes and lives, not just at Clear Space Force Station, but also across the region. And so Lieutenant Colonel Flowers' command tour had begun. As the commander for 13 SWS, she not only leads the installation, but she's also responsible for integrating active duty Space Force, Air Force, Alaska Air National Guard, Department of the Air Force civilians, contractors, and other cats and dogs into a cohesive total force team. And she was able to do that with flying colors. Feedback from everyone who has worked with Stephanie has been nothing short of spectacular. She was able to forge relationships across multiple bases and organizations to advance the mission, ensure her people were taken care of, and fix problems that had been bubbling for years. Let me highlight a few of those accomplishments. She effectively advocated for and got funded over $1.6 billion, that's with a B, in construction projects at Clear. Her tenure is marked with an 86% increase in those projects. This increase has helped the installation address a number of repairs that have been backlogged for way too long. These modernization efforts will continue beyond her tenure for years to come, ensuring the base is set up to support all of the missions that Clear now has and will have in the future. And for those of you who don't know, Clear is a very popular place for new missions, so there's more coming. I would be remiss to not talk about Cobra Dane, which the 13th SWS Commander also oversees. For years, we have allowed Cobra Dane to operate as basically its own entity without fully integrating in operations or ensuring appropriate oversight from 13 SWS. As difficult as it was to change this culture regarding Cobra Dane, and as painful as it may be to maintain and oversee over Sergeant Ball and Sergeant Jordan, you guys know that firsthand. Cobra Dane is still accomplishing a vital mission within Space Delta Forward for the United States. While it could have been so much easier just to maintain the status quo and just kind of look the other way, Lieutenant Colonel Flowers saw a problem and attacked it head on. She led the Delta by working directly with the Pacific Air Force Regional Support Center down in Elmendorf to address critical infrastructure concerns, ensuring the viability of the mission for as long as the DoD needs it. She strengthened oversight of the mission and people, ensuring we can get Cobra Dane on the right track going forward. Lieutenant Colonel Flowers' team at Clear also led the way for the implementation of Space Force Generation Model, or SWS. In fact, I remember when I came out to visit, you guys created the best way to do it. SWS, for those who are not aware, is a new model for how the United States Space Force presents combat credible forces to combat commanders. By working closely with the Air National Guard, she set the standard for how to execute this model early on, helping to guide the Delta and SPOC's implementation strategy. 13 SWS's efforts in this implementation will ensure that we are prepared to deter and, if necessary, defeat any aggression toward the United States, its allies, and partners. I could go on and on, but in order to give Lieutenant Colonel Flowers enough time to talk, she's going to need it, I'll wrap it up here. Stephanie, as you transition into your new role at Space Operations Command, we are excited to hear how you will take what you've learned here at Clear Space Force Station and drive positive change across the entire field command. We're also looking forward to you continuing to advocate for 13 SWS and Del 4 and help us out here and there when you're in the IG. Your ongoing support and leadership will undoubtedly drive further advancements at the field command level. As we transition command of this squadron and installation from Lieutenant Colonel Flowers to the next commander, if there's an officer who is ready to follow in the giant shoes of Lieutenant Colonel Flowers, it's Lieutenant Colonel John Burton. It is my honor to welcome John and his family to the Space Delta 14. John's experience and achievements make him exceptionally qualified to lead this outstanding unit. He comes from his previous assignment with NATO at Supreme Headquarters Allied Powers Europe or Shape. I really want to know how you got that assignment because I would love to get an opportunity to go to Belgium, anyways, we can talk about it later. In his previous tour, he led NATO's nascent space branch, drove NATO's space implementation plan to build capabilities across the Allied command structure, and directed NATO's first command and control concept for space, aligning command and control and processes across multiple allied and joint organizations and combatant commands. I would say that is an accomplishment in and of itself to get all the allies to agree to anything. So great job doing that as well. John has said he's incredibly proud of the work he did with so many fantastic members from different countries to build up new capabilities for NATO. As the CSO and commander of U.S. Space Command have both said, we cannot achieve our strategic objectives in space without our allies and partners. And John was on the front lines of developing those key relationships. It's this kind of work that will set up John for success as the commander of 13 SWS and clear Space Force Station. John has expressed his excitement in coming to join the 13 SWS Team Clear and Delta 4 team. He is headed to a unit that works in a very unique, remote, and dynamic environment, and yet produces results year in and year out. This unit has a large number of incredible professionals across so many organizations that I'm sure Stephanie can attest to that. I know John will ensure the missions executed and supported by Team Clear, strategic missile warning, missile defense, space domain awareness, utilizing the upgraded early warning radar, and the long-range discrimination radar, will continue unabated going forward. I know he will lead this team of professionals to provide the world-class support that is needed for these complex missions and a myriad of other national security missions that seem to be finding their way to clear Space Force Station. Today's ceremony is not just about change, but also about continuity and progress. Stephanie, thank you again for your exceptional service and leadership. Your achievements here have set a high standard and laid a strong foundation for future success at clear Space Force Station and the 13th Space Warning Squadron. Your dedication to the squadron and its mission will leave a lasting impact. So John, we're excited to see the impact of your leadership and the work you will continue here. Your proven track record of excellence and innovation promises to drive those same effects for 13 SWS and Team Clear. We are confident that under your command, the squadron will continue to excel and uphold its critical missions. To the members of the 13th Space Warning Squadron and all members of Team Clear, I know you will continue to excel at your mission and set the standard in everything we do. As you all know very well, the men and women of Team Clear must be ready to deter and, if necessary, defeat any threat to the homeland and our allies, and I know you are ready to step up to the challenge. Thank you all for attending today's ceremony. We have the watch.
Please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Colonel Stephaine Flowers.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 5th Oak Leaf Cluster, to Lieutenant Colonel Stephaine K. Flowers for meritorious service 13 June 2023 to 30 July 2024. Lieutenant Colonel Flowers distinguished herself in her performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander 13 Space Warning Squadron from 13 June 2023 to 30 July 2024. During this period, she led an exceptional response to a 59,000-acre wildfire threatening Clear Space Force Station, rapidly synchronizing 96 organizations to develop mitigations plans and to build a defensive perimeter protecting 456 personnel and $10 billion in mission assets. Additionally, Lieutenant Colonel Flowers led the $1.5 billion long-range discrimination radar's transition to operations plan, ensuring seamless integration into the base's $600 million operating support contract. Furthermore, she led her team to support 2 field training exercises for the long-range discrimination radar, validating the next generation radar's ability to conduct missile warning and enabled the system to enter early use 1 year ahead of schedule. Finally, she extended the Cobra radar's lifespan by orchestrating $65 million in facility repair projects. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Lieutenant Colonel Flowers reflect great credit on herself and the United States Space Force. Please be seated. Lieutenant Colonel Flowers will now provide your farewell and final remarks.
All right, team, I'm going to make it through this, I think. I have remarks. I probably should just skip them, but I'll say I stand before you today full of gratitude and pride. I came over from the Army, and I did not think I would ever command again. And thank you, Colonel Schmitt, for that opportunity. You cannot be an officer in any branch of service and command not be a highlight of your career. It's what you're trained to do. It's what the service needs you to do, and it's what the country asks of you. And a critical thing to any successful command is trust. And Warren Bennett has a quote that he's known for, and it's trust is the lubrication that makes it possible for organizations to work together. And luckily for our team here, we built that trust quickly and solidly. And trust has been the most rewarding and humbling thing this team has given me every day. Trust has allowed everyone here to accomplish their mission and accomplish their jobs. It takes a lot of people to make a winning team, and every single contribution is important. Last summer's forest fire showed us what our team is truly made of. A team that would, as a team, we led an exceptional response to the 59,000-acre wildfire threatening Clear Space Force Station. Collaborating with 96 organizations and 285 firefighters, protecting over 10 billion in mission assets and 456 personnel. During this crisis, we were also able to prepare Clear for the future by expanding our fire breaks by 800,000 square feet to establish a perimeter buffer for Clear. The team received recognition not only from the state and federal agencies, but also from the Assistant Secretary of Defense. Our accomplishments over the past year only increased from there, leading the way into the future of United States Space Force's missile warning, missile defense, and SDA missions. We are the only SWS who is responsible for 3 ground-based radars. Our Cobra Dane team has led a $30 million modernization project of the Cobra Dane, replacing 50-year-old legacy hardware and extending the life of that system. We resolved inefficiencies with our BOSS-I support, resulting in a 77% decrease in work order backlogs and gained a projected $66 million in project funding. And for those of you who don't know what the condition of Cobra Dane is, it is at a point of critical failure without the investment in its infrastructure. And our team's ability to get that $66 million is critical to the future of that mission and that radar. Our team spearheaded LRDR's acceptance testing, T2 planning, DD-250 acceptance to ensure the aligning with mission requirements. In partnership with our MDA and N910 mates, we transitioned sustainment and maintenance of the LRDR to 13 SWS. Not to mention supporting 2 FTXs, validating the next generation radar's ability to conduct our space missions. In partnership with the 213th, our UEWR team led the way across SPOC with Sqaudron implementation. And accomplished this during politically turbulent and emotional times of not knowing the future of our partnership. And with repeated changeovers of leadership, a true example of dedication and resiliency. We also partnered with our local communities. We supported the 11th Airborne Division's Joint Pacific Multinational Readiness Center Arctic exercise by establishing a logistics support area, including the ability to refuel on the move and support for 2,500 soldiers and 200 wheeled vehicles. We hosted quarterly emergency management with 3 local departments to ensure effectiveness of our support agreements and readiness of local emergency management resources. We hosted so many tours that I am now contemplating a retirement gig as a tour guide. Over the past year, we have also increased CLEAR's project funding by 87%, significantly improving the installation's infrastructure and quality of life. And $100 million of active construction projects show that CLEAR's mission is expanding. By improving the resources and facilities and investing in our emergency services, we are not only protecting CLEAR, but being a great partner to our surrounding community. Our services team works tirelessly to ensure the team is able to work hard and play hard. They also show many members of Team CLEAR who are new to Alaska the beauty of Alaska. And let's not forget, we also have the most sought after pizzas in the area. A critical step in any military operation is to establish and maintain security. Whether it's during an Arctic winter or an Arctic heat wave, the defenders of the 268th ensure not only the security of our missions, but the safety of our base personnel. They eagerly and seamlessly do this mission with few resources and no complaints. Endyne, Wolf Creek, and Siddall Medical, your team not only support space missions, but makes life here at CLEAR Space Force Station a wonderful experience. You make our aging facilities comfortable and a home away from home. You provide us with a dining facility that is known across the service. And our on-site medical not only allows for us to maintain operations with our minimal manning, but makes each and every one feel like they are more than a patient. Thank you, Team CLEAR. For embracing me as your commander. And for making my ideas become reality. It all begins and ends with the team. And I would like to point out that all of you still have your teeth. Colonel Schmitt, I'd like to thank you for your support, mentorship, and advocacy over the past year. Our first phone conversation, you were getting your household goods. And I called, and I was like, sir, I know I told you yesterday that I didn't think this fire was going to be a big threat. It now is. And oh, by the way, I called the National Guard. Out. Probably should let your boss know. But you allowed me to command. You got me the resources I need to bring Team CLEAR's ambitions across the finish line. And I'm particularly grateful for all the phone calls you received for when I may or may not have made SSC, SBD2, or SPOC a little fussy. I received the warmest welcome when I arrived last year, when my gender was correctly identified at the gate by Hoxie. And every day since, I have been welcomed with the warmest hearts and the friendliest smiles. That had a way of keeping me focused on the fight at hand, the people we clear, our mission, and posturing the base and its personnel for the future. About this time last year, I was sure my legacy here at Clear was going to either be burning it down or Cookie Gate. But as I reflect today, I am impressed by what we have accomplished together. And I am honored to have served as your commander and part of Team Clear's legacy. Lieutenant Colonel Burton, you have a tough job ahead of you. But trust me, nothing is ever as bad as you think, and it will look a whole lot better in the morning. And if it doesn't, there are plenty of people around you who will figure it out. You're not alone in this journey. You have a team of dedicated professionals ready to support you. Team Clear, thank you for your trust, your hard work, and your dedication. It's been an honor, and I will catch you on the high ground.
Please stand as Colonel Schmitt officiates the change of command.
Policy order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force 13th Space Warning Squadron, Special Order Number G-24-009, dated 10 June 2024, under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51-604, effective 30 July 2024. Lieutenant Colonel Stephanie Flowers is relieved of command, and Lieutenant Colonel John Burton is directed to assume command of the 13th Space Warning Squadron, Clear Space Force Station, Alaska.
Sir, I relinquish command.
I assume command.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 13th Space Warning Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel John Burton.
Taking your time. Words. Thank you, Colonel Flowers, for your support the past several months and bringing me on board. It is a tremendous honor and privilege to be given this opportunity to follow you and now be one of the beneficiaries of the work that you did while you were here. I've been incredibly impressed by what I've learned from you and how you've led this team. Thank you for everything that you've done here. It is apparent to me what a great team Team Clear. I thank you all of Team Clear. Everyone I've met has been absolutely wonderful in accommodating me as well as my parents. The past 12 days now, I've felt very welcome and very excited to work with you all. I know that I will continue to owe you my gratitude for the duration of my time here, for all that you do to keep this installation and this mission running. So if you indulge me for a little bit, I'd like to introduce you to all of my family and those I've invited to attend today here and virtually online. My mom and my dad, Winnie and Kent Burton, they're present here today up in the front. They've traveled all the way from Pennsylvania to be here. They are the parents of 6, the grandparents of 21, I think I have correctly, and a great-grandchild on the way. While my mother has raised us 6 children and shuttling us to and from school and our various after-school activities, my dad traveled quite a bit in his career to a dozen locations all around the world. And one of his work assignments as the deputy administrator for NOAA brought him out here to Alaska a handful of times in one of his most fondest experiences. So I'm happy that he has another excuse to be here today in Alaska. Now, the rest of who I invited here are not here, but who I also wanted to share this moment with, at least virtually, are my siblings, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, if their schedule allowed them to call in from Hawaii, Crete, some route to an assignment in Japan, Utah. They represent all the different services of the military. They are teachers, they are parents, and they all helped to raise me in some fashion. Along with my parents, they are the first examples and continue to be examples of service and leadership. On the line, I also want to recognize Major General James E. Smith, who's been an early mentor and has been a profound impact on my career and life starting when he was my squadron commander at Cape Canaveral. Now, most importantly, I hope you all have the opportunity to meet my beautiful wife, Kelly, and our daughters, Audrey, Catherine, and Emma. They will make a trip out here to Clear, so you all get to meet them. Today, they are dialing in from Cheyenne, Wyoming, with Kelly's parents, Lorraine, and former U.S. Air Force Captain Jeff Fury, and Emily and Erica, her sisters. They are settling back into the U.S. after our last assignment overseas. And during our previous assignment, Kelly has been my unfailing companion, and my daughters have been my dance partners and reading buddies. I can't express my gratitude enough for Kelly and my girls' sacrifice so that I can join your team here today. Kelly, Audrey, Catherine, and Emma, I love you. Now, while I'm here and in the absence of my family, my immediate family, which I value most, I look forward for this awesome opportunity to be here this next year to work with my work family, all of you here today. I've learned from Lieutenant Colonel Flowers and previous commanders that there's no place in the Space Force or on the planet quite like their Space Force station. So now I've personally learned a few things while I've been here at Clear. I've gathered what makes Clear so unique is the tremendous character and courage that you all have to do what you do all the way out here every day, especially under threat of forest fire or being unable to go home for several days, traveling far away from home in extreme weather conditions. I've also learned what a strong sense of connection that you all have, a connection that I felt immediately when I arrived. And I've also learned the commitment that you all have to achieve this mission every day throughout every season. So you may not all be members of the Space Force, but it is clear, pun intended, to me that you all exhibit its core values of character, connection, commitment, and courage. And for this, I'm extremely excited to join your team and be your commander. Thank you for such a warm welcome, and I look forward to working with you.
Please stand for the playing of the Space Force March and the departure of the official party.
What is this? I don't know the words to this. That's good.
This concludes the 13th Space Warning Squadron Change of Command ceremony. Thank you for attending today's event. Lieutenant Colonel Burton invites you to join him in the polar bar for a reception.
Is your hair your song?
Yeah, right, exactly.
The old ones.
Yeah, that was our interim.
Yeah.